Hey everyone, welcome back to another powerful episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik, and today we are talking to the guys who do everything right and still feel like trash. You know the profile. You lift, you eat decent food, you take your supplements, you show up for the work, for family, for everyone. On paper, you are high performing. And in reality, your sleep is wrecked. Your energy is mid and your focus is foggy, and your libido is doing a slow quit, and you are blaming the age. So, hey, dear listeners, our guest here is here to call that out. So, please welcome Clifford Stephan. So, welcome to the show.
Hi, Vig. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Amazing. So, dear listeners, before we delve deep into the discussion, I'll quickly love to introduce you with Clifford. So, Clifford is the founder of Booze Vacation, a men's health movement helping high performing men in their 40s and 50s take the strategic breaks from alcohol to unlock the performance they thought aging had stolen. So he has a background in nutritional science from Cal Poly SLO and more than 20 years running a consulting business in Silicon Valley. So he knows the grind culture from the inside. So his clients are not kind of problem drinkers, but they are the guys having 8 to 12 drinks a week and social, normal, nothing crazy, happy hours, dinners, weekends. Yet, under the hood, that pretty responsible drinking is quietly body checking their sleep, hormones, gut health, body composition, and the sexual performance as well. So, in 2019, he took a real break from alcohol and watched his energy, mood, body, and brain come back online. And now he helps other men run the same experiment. No judgment, no clinical lecture, just straight data on what alcohol is actually doing to your system and how to get your edge back. So, we are talking men's health, performance, and social drinking, and everything in between. So, wait, let's get started. Welcome to the show again.
Hey, thanks so much. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that was quite the descriptor. And obviously, you're in India. I'm in the United States. So different cultures, but super common for men, especially men of success. You know, they go to college. They're going in corporate America. There's a lot of socializing, a lot of work events, a lot of
Mhm.
family and friend events, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean they spend 10 billion a year marketing it here, and it's on every show, it's in every movie. So very common culture, but
Mm.
yeah, it definitely over time, guys get busy. We're working on their business. They're enjoying their family. They're trying to have
Mm.
some fun on the weekends and get some me time, and the regular alcohol use kind of changes the associations we have around just common going to events, hanging out with our
Mm.
buddies, whatever it is, it starts becoming more and more a part of what we do and how we enjoy what we're doing.
Mm.
And and to step back, a lot of these guys that have had success and they've started businesses, they're working their way up the corporate ladder. Alcohol's played a really big part in their story and how they networked and how they showed up and how they made connections. And
Mm.
it worked really well to get them to the place where they're at. But this is kind of really more about, okay, you've gotten there, now what? And we obviously we want you to keep it and enjoy it for as long as humanly possible, and that requires a closer look at your health and your performance. The health is gonna really dictate your performance and how much you
Mm.
enjoy it, and unfortunately, I see a lot of men, myself included, I was the same avatar, is yeah, you can kind of have everything you want on paper, but yeah, with regular alcohol use and age and existing wear and tear and tolerance, where you might be drinking a little bit more, it really winds up becoming a pretty poor return on investment, where you're getting less enjoyment and kind of more pain and suffering, and bad blood work and stomach problems and sleep problems on the other end of things, where it's tricky because you have more responsibility, you have this level of success that you should be enjoying, and you don't always feel like that. And so there's a little bit of dissatisfaction and misalignment there. So we're starting a conversation and brand around doing something that guys don't talk about here in the US as much, which is, yeah, kind of taking a little closer look at their drinking and not sobriety, not pointing fingers, but just getting, we advocate an extended break, not cutting back or taking a month off, which is pretty common with our peer groups because they want to keep it short. But yeah, we like more like a 3 to 6 month break that gives you a long enough runway to really not only learn how to have fun and relax without needing to drink alcohol, but you're also giving time to re-regulate these key systems of health that alcohol is so great at dysregulating, primarily your sleep, diet, and fitness.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And so just wanted to understand, like for men, like alcohol is not just a kind of drink. It's an identity. I mean, it has become basically. So it has become basically an identity, social glue, stress relief, celebration, networking tool, like you mentioned. So how do these stories around being the guy who can hang or the chill drinker keep high performance stuck in habits that are kind of wrecking their health? So, what do you say?
Yeah, so the regular alcohol use, even well within socially acceptable levels, is so good at dysregulating these key systems of health, and it unconsciously keeps us stuck in a bunch of suboptimal patterns. So,
Okay.
sleep is kind of the cornerstone of your health. That affects your brain, it affects your hormones, where you're optimizing and recharging hormones to look and feel your best. It's your testosterone, it's your dopamine and serotonin. It's also your cortisol and insulin levels. So it's affecting your metabolic health. It's affecting your sugar cravings. And so, just, a drink or two can erode your sleep quality by 30-40%. So really majorly impactful. And then, yeah, that has cascading effects. You wake up tired, not well rested, you're chasing sugar, you're chasing caffeine, and you're foggy and unproductive. And so that creates additional stress. It's rewiring your brain for more stress and anxiety and a lowered mood. So you're always kind of feeling a little bit off and discontent, especially with the present moment because you don't feel that good. And so
Mm.
it's very common for men of success to kind of look forward to the weekends and kind of just get through the week as any way they can with, sugar and caffeine and maybe other vices and screens, and they don't get as much done, and then they're ready to blow off steam, and they kind of repeat the cycle. And unfortunately, there's kind of an inflection point where you can really,
Mm.
most Americans have metabolic dysfunction. They have the belly fat, high blood pressure, bad blood work, chronic inflammatory issues, and you could easily fix that by taking a break from alcohol and fixing some baseline diet and lifestyle stuff, but you can't fix it with the age and wear and tear and the regular alcohol use. And so it's really a protocol around doing the right things in the right sequence. And so, yeah, we kind of try to create a little bit more education and awareness around alcohol, not to be judgy or holier than thou, but more to kind of just show how it's going to negatively impact things that guys really care about, like their sexual health, their performance, their body composition, their relationships, their sex life, having fun, being competitive in sports, enjoying their success.
Exactly. When your clients start booze vacation and pull back socially, what comes up for them in terms of identity and the ego? I mean, how do you coach them through that? Like, who am I without a drink in my hand?
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that, yeah, like I said, I think it's really common, myself included, to think of alcohol as, yeah, kind of your fun and wild side. And there's a lot of nostalgia around that, a lot of good and wild times. And so, yeah, when you're regularly drinking it during these peak states with your buddies and having these great experiences, yeah, it's kind of what fires together, wires together. And so it does get really tangled up with your identity and your reward system, which is even kind of more problematic because the more the more you've toiled or had a bad day, the more you're going to want to reward at the end of the day. And then that's going to kind of continue these negative cycles. And so, yeah, it's really, and it's not about pulling back socially. A booze vacation, we have our shit together. We have a plan. We know what we're doing. This is a flex. This isn't defensive. The typical break is guys doing it on their own solo. They don't know what they're gonna say. They don't know what they're gonna do. Their buddies give them some crap and they cave. This is completely different. We have a game plan. We have a shared vision, and it's a flex. And we really don't give a crap what other people think about it. This is really for us, and it's self advocacy, and so it's really about getting great results as quickly as possible, and attending these same social events. Are you going to attend every last same social event? No, probably not. Like when you're just going to the bar and just drinking, and watching a game or something like that might not be as fun. But there's non-alcoholic beers. You still we definitely don't want them to play this defensive posture where they're not doing anything and not having any fun. We want them to navigate that socially and learn how to have fun and relax without needing to drink alcohol in all these events and situations where they normally do. And if you don't do that, then it's not going to be very much fun and you're probably going to stop doing it. And so we want them to get more long-term gains and insights. And so that's a critical piece of it. So it's really learning how to have fun and relax without needing to do it, and then really re-regulating these key systems of health. So you're feeling great. You have more activity levels. There's trade-offs. You don't have this reliable source of fun in your back pocket where you can just kind of pull out at any moment.
Yeah.
But that's reliably fun because alcohol is making your life reliably unfun when you're not drinking it. So you're just kind of gaming the system and kicking your own ass in the process. And so it's really kind of a relearning phase. Yeah, there's a lot of shifts and a lot of epiphanies that guys will experience because, yeah, like I said, it's so intricately tied to our reward system, our socialization system. And so, yeah, there's a lot of ahas there. But, as Indians know better than us, the parties are about the people. It's not about the alcohol. You guys can have 3-day parties and have a hell of a time and not have any alcohol. And here we've kind of been pushed this narrative that the parties are around the alcohol and then that's what kind of makes it fun, but it's kind of the opposite. And obviously the other obvious piece to this is alcohol is not a reliable source of fun over time. So what works today is not going to work tomorrow because your physiology is changing, your tolerance is changing, your body's changing. So that's the other piece that I think gets kind of stuck in our mindset when we think about alcohol.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Yep. And I mean, because this is not just about your about the liver enzymes, but it's all about masculinity branding. A lot of men are not addicted to the alcohol itself; they are addicted to the role it lets them play. Very true. Like what you mentioned is very true. So, one thing I like about your work is the language of booze vacation instead of you are done forever. So why is the strategic break model so powerful for the high functioning men who do not relate to the traditional recovery narratives? What do you think?
Yeah, so
Mm,
my target is men of success that are not alcoholics. They're not looking to go sober. They're not even really looking to change their drinking habits, but they are looking to improve their health and performance and enjoy life more. And essentially really just get what the beer commercial promises. You're rich, you're tan, you're jacked, you got great relationships, you have money to have fun adventures, and without the bad blood work, boner problems, the BS that comes with kind of, a carcinogenic depressant that you're drinking on a regular basis.
yeah,
And so, yeah, it's really just kind of, you know, getting them in that mindset.
yeah, understood.
And so the other reality is, so me and my buddies and very smart guys, doctors, lawyers, college athletes, we would take 1 month breaks in January, and come Super Bowl Sunday in February, we'd go right back to drinking. So I never changed our drinking habits. And what I learned after the fact that I kind of learned intuitively is these short breaks don't work because your brain neural circuitry has physically changed. So you've rewired your
Yeah.
brain for constant high stress and anxiety and lowered mood and lack of discipline. And so it's going to take the average guy 3 to 5 months minimum just to get their brain back online. And so it's really important to essentially what we're giving guys is a
Mm,
choice. They don't currently have a choice in our current system. The current
okay.
choice is you keep drinking and you think you're taking action by cutting back or taking a 1 month break, which is not a choice because you're gonna cave every time. You're gonna take a short break or cut back because alcohol's benefiting you. It's not gonna be very fun. It's not gonna change your drinking habit, and then you're not gonna do that anytime soon again. And so there's no choice there. It's just drink, drink. You play all these games. I'm not going to drink during the work week. I'm only going to drink wine, not beer. There's all this BS games that guys play. But what happens when you take these longer breaks, these guys that are all hovering at about 60% of capacity are going to get closer to 90% of capacity, and they're going to start feeling better. And so asking that guy what they want to do, it's going to be a completely different answer than some guy that's, dragging ass and is just kind of barely getting by. And so it's really about giving guys the choice to see what it's like to know how to do it and to repair their health during this critical window of opportunity where we can easily change it before you get into your doctor, pharmacist, and surgeon with a bunch of money going out the window and really poor results. So it's ultimately it's a tool and it's a gift, and it's the only real way to figure this out is to get away from it long enough to learn how to do it. And then if you turn that machinery back on, you'll have to see kind of what you're giving up and how things kind of go south from there. So it's not telling guys what to do after, but it's really just kind of like going to college or going to the army or whatever it is. It's like it's an experience that every guy needs to have. And so they can make a more informed decision ultimately about how they want to roll with their health and their lifestyle and what they want and how long they want to keep it.
Exactly. I mean, zooming out, like beyond the alcohol, when you look at men's health and performance in their 40s and 50s, what are the biggest lifestyle gaps you see? Like the things most men are ignoring that are quietly draining their energy and their resilience.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, modern America, the standard American diet, we got environmental toxins, we got food toxins, we have
Uh-huh.
we have all kinds of addictions
Yeah.
beyond just alcohol. We have, screen addictions and gambling and yeah, just a lot of numbing out, I think. But I think there's just so much noise and habits become habits and they become very hard to change. And I think guys in particular that are drinking are really stuck because a lot of these guys are trying to be healthy. They're working out, they're taking supplements, they're trying to meditate. They're doing these things, but they don't realize that you can't re-regulate something as you're actively dysregulating it. And so I think that, but yeah, as far as issues, yeah, I mean, 90% of Americans have metabolic dysfunction, which is a pre-disease symptom. So way too many calories in, not enough calories out.
Mm.
And guys that are drinking alcohol that are associating it with rewards and fun and events, there is no chance in hell they are going to strip the fat off their liver and get rid of the highly inflammatory visceral fat and build their testosterone levels and muscle like they should
Yeah.
with regular alcohol use. They're just not. And so yeah, the sleep, it's diet, it's fitness, it's the mind, it's all over the place. But that we're trying to keep this really simple.
Mm.
And when you can kind of put the alcohol down, and when you already have been a little bit conscious of health practices, you're just doing it out of the right sequence. That's when we can really get some compelling results. But yeah, it's very, very, yeah, I think sleep and diet and fitness and other vices are very problematic, especially with, I think there's just not a lot of connection between,
Yeah.
men of success that have plenty of money and or maybe drinking think that their money is going to get them out of a health problem. So they think, oh yeah, like I'll get a pill, I'll get a procedure, I'll get whatever, and that'll fix it. But they don't understand how their health works. So it's just a kind of a playing dumb type of is another piece to it, I think.
Understood. Yeah. Amazing. So, dear listeners, if you're a man listening to this and quietly thinking that this might be me, then here is your no nonsense reflection and challenge. Tonight, just ask yourself one honest question like, if alcohol had zero social upside, would I still drink the way I do? Let the answer land. No shame, just truth. So, this is a kind of mini challenge I want to share with you, like 14 days boost check experiment. Like, um, so first 2 weeks, uh, just track the three things every day, that how many drinks you had, what time you had your last one, and just try like your sleep quality, mood, and morning energy on a simple 1 to 10 scale. Then pick 4 alcohol free days each week. Not a kind of full life overhaul, but just enough sober nights to show your nervous system like what is possible. Like pay attention to how your brain and body feel on those mornings. And at the end of the 14 days, review the date. Do not ask, am I a good or bad drinker? Just ask, like, is alcohol helping or hurting the life and performance I say I want? Right? Because at the end of the day, this is not about being perfect. It's all about being, I mean, not living 40% of your potential on the table for the sake of a habit that does not love you back. Right? So, um, before we move, like, if someone wants to connect with you, uh, how people can connect with you, Clifford?
Yeah. Check out boozevacation.com as an alcohol, boozevacation.com, and then /quiz, or there will be a quiz pop up. We have a men's health assessment that's 3 minutes, and we can really dive into and tell you more about your health and where it's headed than your typical annual physical. But we just ask you 20 questions briefly on your sleep and your diet and your fitness and your body composition, prescription use, and very little around alcohol, but it's very predictive, and you can kind of see more of our methodology. So definitely check out our 3 minute men's health assessment quiz that every guy needs to know
Mm,
what's going on just on a baseline, and then that can be
mm,
pretty helpful in wanting to get more information. We're definitely not advocating guys to just change your drinking habits right away, but I think it's really about getting more information, and the more information you get, the less cool you'll be with alcohol, and the little bit more resolve and resiliency and interest you'll have in taking a break. And it's really ultimately about just kind of questioning, is this really benefiting me? And kind of key this in as an experience, something you could experiment with, nothing you need to make any lifetime declarations around, but it's something that if you don't look at, it's going to have very predictive negative consequences and make things a lot harder and harder than they need to be. So getting smart
exactly.
with it, I think, is super important. So check out boozevacation.com/quiz.
Lovely. Lovely. Great. So, dear listeners, what I'll do is I'll put all the links into the show notes for easy reference. And with this hope, until next time, do follow the challenge that I mentioned and let us know like how you feel, how you think, and would you love to recommend this to anyone else as well. So, stay happy, stay healthy, and keep smiling. Thank you so much.
Thank you.